Hello, Robin. No voice or can't hear me.
Okay, I'm on.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, that's a start, isn't it?
Yes.
So what we need you to do is make me co-host.
Okay, now I do that by going to participants
That's right.
and
Go
your
to
name pops up and more and make co-host. There we go.
Yep. Okay. Mission accomplished.
Good.
Very good. And now what I need to do is I need to keep it set to mute participants on entry.
Yeah.
I don't want people to be able to unmute themselves. People can rename themselves. That's fine. And then do you want to have a waiting room?
Yeah. So we can
Okay.
see who's coming in,
Yep.
Not,
Okay.
not that we really know, but it's yes. I'd like to have the waiting room.
Okay. So we got that set. And then for chats, we want to set that where they can chat with the host only. Do you want to do that or not have any chat?
With the host.
Okay. And that includes me too. So I'll be able to pick up on that for you.
Yeah. So in case I got to ask you to do something or, and I don't want to make it public, I can.
Exactly. Okay. So I think what we have there is pretty good. So tell me how you want to run the meeting.
I'll introduce, our procedures, that
Okay.
people will be given a chance to speak, how that's under, is that under chats where they raise their hand?
Actually, right now, you and I can't see it. When you're a host and co-host, you can't raise your hand. But where they will have it is on the participants panel. There's a button to click to raise hand and lower hand.
Okay. To ask them to do that when we say it's time for that, for their input,
Okay.
Got
it. And then do you want the committee members to be muted or unmuted for the meeting?
I would start off unmuted,
Okay.
Okay,
so I'll be sure I'll unmute them when when they're let in from the waiting room, or you can, either one of us.
Yeah.
And the way that works is you unmute them and then they get a little message dialogue box. I'm going to have to get light so people can see me better. And to unmute themselves at that point.
Yeah. I think they've been asked to unmute themselves.
Great. And then if people call in with their phone, what they've got *9 to raise hand, is that what it is?
Yeah.
And then *6 to unmute?
To unmute.
Okay.
And that also, that's where we can put a name there. So if it's a phone number, they show on their phone, it's your phone number, we can put a name there on their phone number.
Okay, so you broke up, or I got an echo. So you want to rename them when they call in? We unmute them and ask them to, I don't know how to tell them to rename themselves when they're on the phone.
Well, they can't. That's what I mean. We don't know how to do that. But if we can ask them to what their name is,
identify themselves,
or we would like to name you, and just first name. I don't need the whole
Okay,
thing, just so it's not a phone number just sitting there.
yes, okay,
And if they choose not to do it, yeah, because I'm looking at it right now in security, rename themselves, and we've got that checked,
yes,
that they can't rename themselves, but we can put a name on, and that can be done either when they want to speak, or if we have a dead period in between that,
mhm,
you could chime in and, ask them,
ask for that, okay.
you know,
Do you know, somewhere I have written down, but I'm not seeing it. Do you have Julie Tacker's phone number? Because she always calls in by number. If I keep looking, I'll find it.
I've got it in my phone here. Hang on.
Okay.
I've got 3 different phone numbers for her. So I don't know what you want to
Well,
do.
if it's an 805 or 5281, that's probably not going to be the one she's calling on, right? She'd be using a smartphone. Maybe not. Oh, well, I'll see if I can find what I have. And if I don't have one, we'll just,
Yeah,
she'll,
try. Let me give you one to try.
okay. Or
Okay,
to
it's
look for. Yeah.
805-235-8252.
Okay.
And
Got it.
and the other one I have for her, it's the same number. Instead of 52, it's 62.
Okay. 8262. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So either one of those should be Julie.
Either one. Okay.
Okay.
I will look for those. You might want to put this on in mine.
Oh, okay.
And I think I silenced it.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
And then you're going to call in with your phone too, so you don't get the echo.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to do that right now to look at,
Okay.
to see what the phone number is. Call in, close.
Ah, we'll let her in the waiting room, but keep her there. But one of our permit requester is in. This is the one that wants the fence.
Oh.
So she's in the
fence.
waiting room right now.
Okay. Yeah, and in fact, I should print the agenda. I've been running low. Let's see, there's the agenda.
I'm going to go get a lamp. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Enter your meeting ID followed by pound. Enter your participant ID followed by pound. Otherwise, just press pound to continue. Please enter the meeting password followed by pound. You are in the meeting now. There are 3 participants in the meeting. You are muted. You can mute or unmute yourself by pressing *6. You have been muted by the meeting host and cannot unmute yourself.
Thank you. Okay, so is that you that's there? You're muted, Ari. So *6 to unmute, maybe? There you go.
Okay, now I got get rid of background sound. There we go. Is that working? Can you hear me now?
Kind of. Hold on, I'm down below plugging
Oh.
things in. Yes, I don't hear any funny sounds.
Okay, and my voice is coming in clear?
Clear enough, yeah.
Clear enough, okay. I'll get the bubble gum out of my mouth.
There, and now I've got some better light. Okay. Do you know of any architects or contractors or anybody other than the names of Loda, Goodwin, and Byrne?
No, I don't.
Okay. I just didn't know who our rep from Morro Shores will be, but
Oh,
they'll raise their hand or something, huh?
yeah. Oh, Morris Shores is Debbie.
Debbie?
Debbie, yeah. Debbie ROHN or something, or
Okay. Very good.
yeah, so first is the fence, then the single family residence on Serrano Road up by the fire department, vacation rental out in the boondocks there, out by the sewer plant, and application for Morro Shores. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing I was going to check with you is share screen.
Okay. So did you get the email from Sue?
No, I haven't read email
Well,
today.
you know, you've been doing it. I can't do it. You have to do it. But down at the bottom of the, you know, that bottom menu bar, there's the shared
Yeah.
screen. if you click on that and then click on advanced sharing options,
Yeah.
then you're going to want to click on all participants.
Instead of host only,
Right.
one participant can share at a time, and then all participants
Yeah.
can share.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
but I
that's what
shouldn't.
you,
I shouldn't do that now. I should wait until.
I would recommend that, because that way people can't fiddle around and do anything weird, right?
Okay.
You, and then turn it off when they're done, until we get the next person that's ready. I know for sure that the fence woman is going to have documents, and I would think the home, the single family home building, the Goodwin probably would, and undoubtedly Morrow Shores is going to have documents.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll turn them on and off as when requested.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. And unfortunate, it'd be nice if when you clicked on that, it would show you the participants, or there was some way where you could just allow that for
Select.
that particular person
Yeah.
instead of global, but I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, anyway. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, that's that. And I think we're recording now. I'm upper left. I'm seeing a recording thing
Perfect.
blinking up.
Okay.
So that part is good.
That part is good. Very good.
So do we want to let that person in and start, or?
Sure. Let's see. We're at 10 up. I'll admit her. Or where's she? I have a admit that person. I guess she must have given up the
Yeah, I saw one drop off.
yeah, so she'll probably try again.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Oh, there's Patrick. Oh, Patrick. And Eve. Oh, there's Patrick. I can see his face. Robin, got some people in the waiting room.
Hey, Larry.
Yeah.
When I'm letting people in, they're not coming in muted. Some
Oh,
people are, but not everybody.
That's why we're both here at this end to check on that.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing a Karen.
Yes, and that's
But
the
it could-
only one. Let me check. I don't know why that happened because it was working before.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a microphone there.
Yeah, because she's not muted. Hi, Karen. Oh, you know why? She's still connecting.
Oh,
Now she's
there
muted.
she is.
Now
There's
it is.
Jesse. Okay.
I'm gonna
And
unmute Trish.
Okay. For everyone that's Patrick and Eve and Karen, we're keeping everybody muted until we get the meeting started and I explain all the rules and stuff. So just stand by and bear with us while we're working on this. But we do see you there. Welcome to the meeting. And again, I'd like to thanks all those who have come, just signed in here. We're slowly getting a lot of folks here, which is good. We do have everyone muted until there is time to speak or say something. We will then unmute all so you can make a statement or say something or ask a question, but it keeps a lot of the interference of background noises and stuff off this platform, which gets kind of cumbersome sometimes So I want you to know when we see you all, we've invited you all here to, into the meeting. And everyone will have a chance to say something, introduce themselves, ask questions, or just sit back and relax and enjoy the show. We do have a few interesting topics to look at and discuss today.
No, she me too. Oh, okay, yeah.
Don't bug me, okay?
And again, for those who have just joined us, again, the meeting is going to be starting in a couple minutes. We do have everyone muted for the start of the meeting. Just keep the background noises and stuff off the Zoom platform. It does get a little disturbing sometimes. I'm trying to work too many things at once here. When you do want to say something at the bottom of the screen, if you're on the internet platform, some of you I know call in on telephones. You'll see I have to call in on telephone. Somebody correct me if I'm not. I think it's in participants where you can.
Yes, that's right. If you click on participants at the bottom, you'll get a white panel, participant panel, and over there is where you will have a button to click on to raise your hand.
So that during the meeting, if you have a question or you want to say something or anything else, that's how you do it. If you are calling in on a phone, it is *6 to mute or unmute yourself. And then it's *9 if you want to raise your hand. If you're calling in on a telephone, trying to get everyone familiar with this. Some of you I know have used this before. Some people are still new and they're learning. We're trying to make it as simple and as easy as possible for everyone to participate in this. And I've got its starting time. So I don't think anyone missed the directions I just kind of gave about raising your hand when it's time for either the public to speak or an agenda item is on the menu. Otherwise, everyone will be muted to keep the background noises to a minimum. And again, there's a way to raise your hand by going to participants, and then at the bottom of the screen it says raise. There's a thing you can click on to raise your hand. And if you're on a telephone trying to call in, it's *9 to raise your hand, and then it'll be *6 to mute or unmute yourself. Okay. So to start the meeting, let's start off with the roll call.
Okay, the roll call tonight, Larry Bender,
Here.
Lynette,
Here.
Yael,
You know, I saw them and then they dropped off.
They're still here, but they're muted.
And do you see where they are on the?
Yeah. I'm here.
you are. Okay, thank you. Sue, I see you. Julie,
She's here. She's keeps muting herself.
It's also muted.
Yes.
okay. Lindy,
She's
oh, I
here.
see your hand, thank you.
You muted yourself now. Linda.
And then Paul is
I'm
right
here.
there. Okay, thank you very much. We are all present. And Robin, I've got you already. Thank
Yes,
you.
we're here.
Okay. Can Robin, can we get Julie and Lindy unmuted if they want to be unmuted?
Well, I just asked one, and Lindy.
Okay. Well, anyway, we'll kind of work on that. We'd like to have our board members at least unmuted so we can talk and ask questions, and they can help me along during this meeting process. We had minutes from last month's meeting. They need to be approved. Anyone want to make motion to approve the minutes, or do we have the minutes out there?
Yeah, I'll make motion to approve them. This is Yael.
I'll second.
Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Anyone opposed? Silence. Okay, I'll take that as unanimous. The next thing on the agenda is the chairperson announcement. We're going through some interesting times now, I guess with the lockdown coming over the whole state again. But at least through Zoom here and stuff, we are able to communicate a little bit to each other and try to get life through. I hope everyone does have at least a happy holiday season before us. It's going to be trying, but I do want to wish everyone the best. From the chairperson, is there any member announcements out there? Okay, no members announcement. Let's get to our agenda items. First one we have is a fencing height, and I know the lady was here who is this.
Yes, I asked her to unmute. Karen, can you unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so not sure which one's working, the phone or the computer, but yeah. Hello, everybody. If you don't mind, I'm going to stop sharing my video because it's always distracting when you're trying to talk. So I appreciate everybody's time. There's just some materials I wanted to present first. So my name's Karen Loida, and I purchased and resided at 1870 Fern for 4 years. Appreciate your time to describe a project 1904B. There's a provision for exceptions which states any of the requirements may be waived or modified through minor use permit approval, providing the planning director first finds that specifically identified characteristics of the site or site vicinity would make the required fencing ineffective. So I'd like to show you some pictures of why I'm spending thousands to pursue this minor use permit. Is it possible to share my screen?
I think I've turned it on so you can share it, your screen.
Okay, perfect. Let me see if I pull up. Okay, so can everybody see? I'm starting with a picture of a property. Okay, so this starts in 2016 when I move in. Fairly overgrown. The renters to my left have been there 2 years. And there's a hummingbird bush. The trees that I'm trying to protect are behind me, but the hummingbird bush to the left, per the renter's consent, I trimmed down from 15 feet approximately to 9 feet. So there's some history and there was some cooperation. This is a picture from 2017 with the trees in question to my right. There's an old fence with a lot of ivy growing in it. And eventually that fence, late December 2018, partially blows down. We had some wicked storms that year. So in August of 2019, I've replaced the fence. I've removed a lot of growth, including ivy, and I've landscaped, and I thought I could put my feet up and be done. And this shows the back of the fence. So it's my redwood fence. The property line runs between the redwood fence and their chain link fence. And this, I had my handyman take before I kind of closed up an area. So after I did all this work, between September and November, I noticed some thinning of my trees past my fence. There was a new boyfriend who moved in, not that that's any concern of mine, but the trees, I was concerned why I was losing them. So I purchased some Arlo security cameras, and then later I did put a note on the boyfriend's truck to stop trimming the trees past the property line because it was clear that somebody was trimming them. I talked to small claims court about what to do. I learned about California tree laws. I did talk to the sheriff, who said it's a civil matter. And then before I went on a long vacation, I mailed a letter to my neighbors to stop cutting past the tree line or the property line and then close the tree lot. So December, when I came back, people would say this doesn't look bad, but for me, I never saw that satellite dish, and I always had a heavy tree line with a lot of privacy. I started seeing holes in my camellia where I could see the renter's house and their roof line, holes being punched through, and kind of trimming from the bottom up. So here we see the vent on the neighbor's house, some of their housing. And again, I never saw any of this, so I was a little concerned. And here's a picture towards the end of December with more trimming. That's my fence. And on the other side is their house, basically. So was trying to decide what to do. And so I returned in December 6th. I told the boyfriend's moved in. Again, it doesn't matter who's in that house. I'm just worried about my property. So I looked for the landlord's contact information, and I start researching lawyers and consulting arborists about what's next because my letter hasn't stopped the activity. And so I attempt communication with the landlord through a variety of means, et cetera. So by January, there's more thinning. I put up this board just to show how much past my fence, and the property line is, again, on the other side, is being trimmed away. This is from the street side. That's showing my house, the second-story house, the thinning of trees with some of their vegetation in the front. So again, I'm a little bit more concerned, and I have a lawyer send a cease and desist letter to the renters on the 13th. I send the same letter to the landlord on the 15th. I have a property survey started just to ensure that I am right and exactly dead on where the property line is, and I hire a consulting arborist to do an early cost estimate of the damage. And I call and text with the landlord. So going beyond that, here we get into February where I start seeing, limited branches, but basically the trunks of my trees past my fence. Start seeing more holes again, these are my trees and they're not limbs on their side, seeing holes, but seeing their roof line and their house. Then it really gets punched through where I can clearly see their roof, et cetera. And at this stage, it's probably mid-February, I put up 2 feet of chicken wire thinking that would stop them until I know what to do next. And then finally this is mid-February, again, I put up garden cloth just to think of what else to do. And you can see some of the limbs this is a tea tree smashed down. So again, February, trying to decide what to do next. And my lawyer says, instead of pursuing damages, to pursue a harassment case. I don't like that option, but I think about it. I put up the chicken wire. I have the property surveys completed. Start talking to other arborists, including had Hope from Los Valley Nursery come in for her opinion, because I bought a lot of stuff from her. And then more communications with the landlord, who at this point says she sees the damage, but she wants exact pictures of them doing it. And now I know who exactly is living in that rented house. So March, not the best picture because you got the chicken wire and the gardening cloth there, but it starts showing more trimming of the tea trees. And finally I'm seeing vents on the top of the houses and much of the roof line. So I did find 2 lawyers willing to pursue a harassment case, have chosen not to do that. It's very antagonistic and combative. Talked to the county about options. We had the COVID shelter in place start, so that didn't help. And then I installed high-end security cameras. In addition, I put a 4th tree much further away from the fence that couldn't be damaged by anybody reaching over the fence. So April, you see more thinning, and I'm at my wit's end deciding what to do, and I really don't want to lose these trees, and it's been months of this process, so clearly seeing a lot of trimming, and by end of April, or excuse me, that was the beginning of April, end of April I put up the Lexan just to try to stop things and give me a break. So here when I put up the Lexan, because it's so reflective, you can begin seeing the holes where the tea trees damaged. That's a side view. That's another view from my 2nd story window. See how thin the tea tree is, and you can see some of the poke through on the camellias. And again, it's to a private patio that I enjoy a lot. Knowing it's summer now, it's June, I wanted these trees to be given a chance. It's no longer winter rain, so I did top the top of the tea tree down to the Lexan to try to get the tea tree to bush out a little bit because there's still so much damage. While all of this is happening, I start researching the minor use permit paperwork, which is it's a feat. So I talk to engineers, I have somebody run wind calcs on the fence, have numerous calls with the county about the process, and I now begun understanding the total expense and how many permits I'm going to have to file. In addition, I measured the yard, the project site with elevation to create the hand drawing, and I submitted this just after I received a code violation on my property. So to do some comparison pictures, this is starting in December to where we are December now. And it's starting to fill in a little bit. There's still some holes and gaps, but the Lexan's working. Here's April to November. This is the side view of the tea tree. It's starting to thicken up and become more like it was before some of the damage started. This is a picture of June to November. You can clearly see how thin the tea trees were and some of the holes. And again, it's starting to fill out and recover. Again, February to November, same thing. And then the picture from April to November, there's still some pop spots that need to recover, but hopefully with rain, if they come this winter, I'll get a good recovery of the trees and they'll start really going back to where they were. So this shows a picture from August 2019 when I thought I was done and could put my feet up to where I am now in December of 2020. And the trees are starting to recover. They're doing nicely with a lot of TLC, and I'm just waiting for the tea tree to thicken up and then it can grow up a little bit. So to conclude, I think, we all have a right to peaceful enjoyment of our property, whether we're best friends with our neighbor or not, we rent or own, or we're new to the community or born into it. But nobody should be worried about persistent property damage or wonder what's next. Never did I imagine I would ever be in this situation. My options are limited. Pursue a court case for monetary damages or harassment. It's not my thing. Court's expensive, it's combative, and I want my trees, not compensation. I cannot build a shed that does not require a permit in this area due to the setback required from the street, which you can build a 150 square foot shed in a lot of places on your property. It just wouldn't fit here. And then any other building plan would destroy my trees. So the pictures show the Lexan is allowing my trees to recover. And while the damage may not stop, it's providing a deterrent. And I'm seeking your recommendation in favor of my permit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That was a very nice presentation you did. It definitely shows what you've been going through, a lot of stuff. Are there any questions or comments from any of the board members on land use?
How do I raise my hand?
Oh. Lindy, I see your hand, Lindy.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I see your hand. Yeah.
I guess my question would be, is the property owner who turned you in for code enforcement on the Lexan? And I would think that the property owner would be happy that would eliminate the branches going into their yard, which seemed offensive to the boyfriend or whoever. I wonder what's the landlord next door's position?
So the landlord's out of town, not necessarily wanting to hear a lot about this, nor has been really open or cooperative to helping resolve the problem. I suspect it was the renters who turned me in, because the next morning after I put the Lexan up, I could hear them talking about committing a code violation and ensuring I was fined.
Okay. I can't see everybody. So someone else has their hand raised.
Sue.
Or a question or anything.
Larry, I have my hand raised. Sue.
Oh, okay. Sue, go ahead.
Thank you, Larry. I just wanted to say to Karen, I'm very sorry that you have to deal with this. You made a great presentation. You were very clear, and we completely understand your situation. And I hope that this can get resolved. That's all.
Appreciate your understanding. Thank you.
You want to raise a hand? Yes. Okay, hold on.
No, it's not there.
More. No. Anyway, Paul is raising his hand.
So he's still muted.
Oh, no, you're not muted.
Oh, hi, can I raise my hand?
Yes, go ahead, Paul.
Okay, thanks. Wow, that's really quite a story. Thanks for the very thorough presentation. If the county will grant a variance or whatever it is, I see no reason not to support it. Karen has no other choice. Unfortunately, the neighbors are not being very neighborly, and it seems like they're actually being overtly hostile. So I don't see why it shouldn't be allowed. Maybe other people have some thoughts about that. But I think this is definitely one of those cases, apparently, as Karen read the code, that there is allowance for extenuating circumstances. And this seems to be, to me, to be one of those circumstances.
Okay, Paul, thank you. Again, I'm not seeing everybody, but anybody else have questions or comments? Hope, did I see?
What did you turn to do?
Oh, Hollis Henning, I see your hand up. We have to unmute you. Give us a second here and we'll get you unmuted.
I think I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
There you go.
Oh,
there we go,
great.
Hollis.
Yes. Hi, everybody. So I am a neighbor of Karen's and I'm here in support of her. And I'm really happy to hear all of your comments because I have lived around the corner from Karen for about 5 years now. And I've watched her. We actually both moved to Los Osos right about the same time. And so we kind of supported each other in our renovations and all the work that we've done on our properties. We've even shared, contractors and a handyman. And I've gotten to know Karen very well over the past 5 years. And I've also watched her put her heart and soul into that property. And it's just a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous property. She's transformed it and she's done all kinds of research on plants and trees. And, she really wanted to make that property into a beautiful place and a place that really shines in Los Osos and makes Los Osos shine as well. And it's difficult to watch somebody disrespect that. And I don't know what the motivations are with the neighbor next door, but, I can say that, in my opinion, someone wanting to protect their property and their privacy is really a right that we all should have. And I feel like the solution that Karen's come up with is really about the most peaceful, fair solution possible. In those photos, there was a little bit of reflection from the Lexan, but when you see it in person, it's actually almost clear. So it doesn't block any light. So it wouldn't, cause any problems to the neighbors whatsoever. So, I think actually it's really, I can't, she worked so hard to even find a solution that was as fair as it could be. And yet still keep her, protect her property and keep her privacy. And I salute her for that. And I do hope that she gets this land use variance. So just really here to tell you my opinion and offer support to Karen.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Yes. Thank you very much for participating. Anyone else? I'm going to try to flip through here. I saw Hope.
You have Hope.
Hoppy?
Or Hoppy.
Yeah. Can we maybe try to unmute Hoppy and see if he has something to say?
There you go.
Hoppy, are you there?
It's Hope, yeah. Hope Merkel from Los Angeles Valley Nursery. Yeah, I've seen a lot over the years of people, neighbor to neighbor, cutting down trees, people coming in going, how do I kill a tree? And then the next neighbor coming in and going, what killed my tree? So, I mean, you see a lot over the years, in 43 years. And I can say from the first time that I went over there, I was like, what is eating your tree? What's causing damage? Going over there, the trees aren't actually I don't even believe on the neighbor's side. I think they're on Karen's side. And that's what's really disturbing is the damage that's done is actually on Karen's side. You know, talking with her and having her come up with, like the last person said, these incredible, like, here, this should work. This is going to be great. Going over and going, oh my God, that is absolutely beyond what anybody should have to do. It's absolutely the Lexon, absolutely beautiful. And then having her tell me, going, they complained. What? So I was literally shocked when, like, if you saw her property, saw how beautiful it was, and the neighbor, there's no way that anybody should even complain about this. It actually looks pretty. I was just dumbfounded. And that, like, it shouldn't go beyond where the normal person is going, what? How does this happen? We're all human. We all have properties, especially when it's just somebody who's renting a property who doesn't keep up their property. Like, your property's beautiful and you're trying to do the best you can. My heart goes out to Karen because I can't even imagine. And she has done her research on plants, you know, from, okay, I need a tree that fits this spot, this location, can't go over this. Done a lot of research on, okay, this one, this, like, just a lot of research. She's done a lot of work. She's not trying to piss them. She wants to just make everybody happy. And I think, you know, she needs to be like given kudos for that.
And
Okay.
there's another raised hand. David, I will unmute you.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Oh, very good. Well, I would just like to echo what the other neighbors, Karen's neighbors, said. I'm another one of her neighbors that lives around the corner on Donna, and I've watched her completely transform her property, and it's so beautiful. And I've also taken care of her yard while she's traveled or been out of town. And so I water and I take care of things for her. And it is amazing what she has done.
Dave, I think we're kind of losing you. You might have slow internet like I have.
To that property, and where Los Osos is trying to be. Uh-oh. Can you hear me now?
You're coming in broken, but yes.
Uh-oh. Oh. Okay. Anyway, I would just like to echo what the other people said, and also living in this neighborhood, I've lived here for almost 20 years, and there are so many neighbors that have fences taller fences that are, I would suppose you'd say, out of compliance, but none of them look as nice as it's done for her property. And also with, I think, with the keeping in mind, like Hollis said, keeping in mind that the light, it's the most unobtrusive solution that could be made. And I just, kudos to Karen for the work. That's about what I'd say. Thank you.
Okay, Dave, thanks very much. Okay, you came in a little bit broken, but we definitely heard your support for Karen.
Okay, thank you.
Are there other folks out there? Again, if you're calling by phone, *9 will raise your hand and we'll get a notice here. Or if you're on the internet at the bottom there, you go to participants and click on that, and somewhere in there, there's a place you can raise your hand. Then we can see you, or just wave it. If we can actually see you, then we see you that way. We want everyone to have a chance to say what they want to, or ask questions, or make a comment.
Can I make a motion?
Julie, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Sure, Julie.
I'd like to move that we recommend approval to LOCAC for this, I forgot the words.
Variance.
Waive the fencing and screening standards per section 230419-0B4 and allow the fence with that lovely treatment over 6 foot 6 feet.
I'll second that.
Okay.
May I question an amendment in motion? Do we want to ask this go on the consent agenda? Do you think this needs to be?
I'll accept that amendment.
Okay, so we have a motion then to send this with approval to the consent agenda. I guess somebody has to second. Oh, Julie second.
Paul, you have to second that.
Oh, I second with the amendment.
Okay.
Not the second.
I just want to make a comment. I think it's a great solution you're working on. You know, I think the amendment's there, and I think you've come up with some very creative outside the boxes ideas of hopefully coming up with a solution for this. So I'm totally in support of your project here. But let's have a vote and see how this goes.
Can I just say one quick?
Susan? Yeah, Susan, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank Hollis, Hope, and David for coming and speaking. You know, we are here to represent the people who live here in Los Osos, and unless we hear from neighbors, we never really, you know, get a full picture. So we really appreciate that you came to support this really terrific thing that Karen's doing. Thank you. Okay, I'll be quiet now.
Okay. You know, thinking about that real quick, we also have a tree and landscape committee. Would they like to put add a comment into
More
this, or
trees. More trees and keep them alive. And the fence is beautiful architecturally. We saw it in the planning.
And we can help you save rainwater if it ever rains.
Yeah. Come to us.
We have
show you
gallons.
how to capture the rain, every drop of it.
Okay, well, good.
We need a vote.
Okay, we need a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Putting it on the consent agenda and backing it? Yeah.
Aye.
Any opposed? I don't hear any negatives, so I'll take that as a majority.
Unanimous.
More than majority. Unanimous. There we go. Thank you, Julie.
That's the word you're looking for.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. Thank you, and we'll pass this on.
Good luck,
So
Karen.
you know this, on December 10th, we have our LOCAC meeting, and this will be put on the consent agenda for that, you know, recommending to approve your project.
Thank you and
And
happy
then-
holidays.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we have the Goodwin project. Do we have somebody here to talk about that?
Family residence.
Make our life shorter. Hope he's in bed. Oh my gosh, covered with it.
Going once. Is there anybody here to talk about the Goodwin project?
Yeah, since if you are and you're muted, if you could raise your hand. 'Cause we're not seeing anybody's name Goodwin on here.
Since there seems to be nobody now, we can bring this up at the end of the meeting, just check if they show up or anything. If not, maybe we can put this on the January agenda and maybe try to make contact and see if they could want to make a presentation here or not. So right now we're going to pass over. Oh, did I hear somebody? No? Okay. Then do we have I'm not sure how it's pronounced, the vacation rental out on Jacaranda Lane?
Yes, they're on
Right.
here. There he is. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Oh.
Yes, great.
Nice to meet everyone, and thank you for giving us some opportunity to speak about our little project. Really do appreciate it. My name is Michael, and this is Antoinette, and we live at 245 Jacaranda Lane, and we are one of the last properties over here that are not the major farmland where it's, I don't know, 30, 40 plus acres of property to farm. We do have a farm, and we currently farm for oats out here. We are a 10-acre lot, so relatively small for farmland. But our future plan is to put a more profitable crop in the ground. That's the whole reason behind this vacation permit. It's really to subsidize the income to get some of the infrastructure built to be able to do crops like avocados or oranges or peppers even. There's a lot we can do with the type of soil in Los Osos. We just need to subsidize some of that income to be able to afford it. So that brings us to the vacation permit. We hope to hold a number of vacation rentals over the course of a year. We don't have a certain number that we're really shooting for at this point, a relatively small number since this is our primary residence. But I know some of the issues that you guys might have or foresee would be on call. So we do plan to be on or around Los Osos within a 10-minute drive. And we'll give all of our neighbors our contact numbers that don't have it already. And we're very responsible, respective of our neighbors. Most of them know that we are already in the midst of going through this permit, and they're pretty much all on board. So unless you have anything else to add, we're happy to answer any questions any of you may have.
Okay, thanks very much for filling us in. Are there any questions from any of the board members about this vacation rental? Paul, I see your hand up. Lindy, I see you're next.
Yeah, hi guys. Are you familiar with the vacation rental guidelines that were established by a land use committee? They're not legally binding at this point. We are trying to get them into the community plan. Are you aware of those?
Yeah, we've reviewed them to some degree. I couldn't.
Right. So there's no vacation rentals near you, right?
No, there isn't. There's a few up the road, and there's a few bed and breakfasts, but no Airbnbs probably within a mile or so of us.
Okay. So seems, unless there's anything else that is not compliance, does anybody else have any thoughts about that?
Lindy, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, I wanted to, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I guess I was curious about the event permit plans also. You do have a large property, and you're showing that you could use another way to come in and possibly provide adequate parking. I think that kind of doesn't go along with this permit application, but it would be something that you might be doing in the future. I just wonder if you could share if you have any plans to be doing large events there and how often they might be. My main concern is water use. You can use every drop out of our basin while we're stuck paying for retrofitting enough water for our community to use. So that will always be a concern, is that properties bump up and start using more water than they are currently using. So I just bring that forward as how the sentiments for people that do live in our basin will have some concern about that. And sometimes it's reasonable to request that you consider quantity monitoring just to show the statistics so that we know how much water is being used in the basin to help the planning as we go forward with other future development. So I wonder if that's an option that you'd be open to, because that's one that those of us who are concerned about the basin are pushing for, because until we know how much private wells used, we don't really know how much is coming out. So those are my two comments.
Yeah, absolutely. We're welcome to talk about that. Let's start with the well issue. Currently it's a dry farming. We do oats purely. We have hopes to do other crops that might require an ag well, but at first we want to see what other peppers or snap peas or something like that we can grow that wouldn't require an ag well. Currently we only have one well on the property, and it's relatively small, only 96 feet deep, and it's pumping 5 gallons per minute. So it's not a big ag well. At this point, I don't know if we could even really put an ag well on here on this property with what we want to do financially. So I wouldn't be too worried about the water use. I know it is a huge issue within this area, and I completely respect that. So we definitely want to take that into consideration. As far as the event space, that's another idea of ours to subsidize some of the income. But realistically, I believe you were looking at the pre-application meeting. We have never filed an application for that, and we understand that that's going to be a much larger issue. A lot of studies that have to be done, but those would probably be, if they got approved, which is a big if because we are on prime soils, the map that you probably saw would not be what it really would look like. It would be relatively small, 50-person weddings probably, if that, maybe 5 times a year. But there's a lot of issues with that plan. Like I said, it's not even really in a point where we can really even talk about it, just because we have to talk to Public Works, because there's no left turning lanes, there's no secondary access. There's a lot of issues with that issue. So at this point, we just want to pursue the vacation rentals, no events associated with that at this point.
Could I ask one other question?
Mm-hmm.
Would you be staying there while you have the vacation rentals? Because it's you've got 5 bedrooms. I mean, it's a big house. So I was curious whether it's that you would be vacating and then renting the entire property, or if it would be that they would be more like a come in while you stay in your area. Just curious.
So we have the option to do both, but for a vacation rental, usually you're renting out the entire property. That being said, Antoinette's entire family still is in San Luis Obispo. With the nearest relatives, our parents are only 5 to 10 minutes away. So we could always stay over there if we were going to, be renting it out, but we'd make sure we'd stay in the area just in case there were some kind of issues. And we would definitely vet anyone staying here. We don't want to have the issue of, college parties or anything like that. So.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from board members?
Just one more question or comment. I don't have a problem with the idea of having vacation rental, but such a big house, you probably can rent it for about 10 or 12 people. That's a lot of water. So just keep in mind that I don't know how many days, a month or a year you're going to do that. the less people, the better, as far as the water concerns. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Go ahead.
Well, like Michael said, it's not this isn't something we would want to do frequently. It's more about supplementing, our dreams of really turning this into a farming property. So understood, absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions from board members or comments? Going to open this up to the public. Anyone out there in the public have any questions or comments about? Yes. I'm not seeing any indication. Robin, you seeing any activity out there in the public?
No, I'm not seeing any raised hands.
Okay. Anyone like to make a motion?
I will.
Is that you, Julie?
Yes, it is. I'm getting good at this.
Hey.
I'd like to move that LOCAC Land Use recommend approval for the Burn proposed vacation rental permit on Jacaranda Lane. I think it could go to the consent calendar, and I'm looking for a second.
I'll second.
Let's see, Lynette's got a second there.
Lynette and Trish.
Okay. I'd like to just make the comment that I think it does meet all the guidelines and stuff that we have kind of established for vacation rentals, and so I don't see any reason to support this project. I think it's could be good both ways. So let's have a vote. All those in support of putting this on the consent agenda.
Aye.
You can add Paul also. He's just stepped out of
And Paul.
And Paul.
Lindy, you're in there. Robin's in there. I'm in there. Unanimous? I think that's unanimous.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. So again, folks, this is going to be coming up this Thursday. You might join in the regular LOCAC meeting. It's at 7 o'clock on Zoom here. And this will be on the consent agenda. Or we recommend that it goes on the consent agenda. And we'll be sending a notice to the county that we support your project.
Great. Well,
thank you so much.
Thank you both all very much. Appreciate it and appreciate the feedback.
Well, thanks for coming and explaining it to us. I wish you guys all the best luck in achieving.
Thank you
so much, Susan.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye-bye.
Okay. And let's see, the next thing on the agenda is the Morrow Shores Mobile Home Project. And I did see Robin on here, not Robin, Debbie on here earlier.
There she is.
I'm here.
Oh, hi, Debbie. So if you'd like to go ahead and talk about your project, I do have screen share on if you wanted to use that.
Yes, and maybe you could also unmute Michael Milan and Nairi Asajian, so if they can answer any questions that I can't answer.
Okay.
Let me know when it comes through and you can see my screen.
It's there.
Okay, I can. Robin, are you working on getting those other two people to?
I found one of the people, Mr. Milan.
There's Michael
Yeah.
and Nairi, Nyri.
There you go, Nairi.
Thank
That
you.
sounds
Debbie,
good.
could you
Thank
tell me where you're from?
Okay, I'm Debbie Rudd. I'm with RRM Design Group, and I'm working with Michael and Nairi on this project. Michael is he represents the management company that's been managing the Morrill Shores Mobile Home Park for many years, and Nairi is the project manager for the property owner. So I have a presentation, just a short presentation to walk you through to kind of give you an overview, and then we're here for questions. Are you seeing my screen right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Okay, great.
There's a logo.
So Morrill Shores, as you probably all are well aware, is a mobile home park. It's age restricted for 55 years and older. It has currently 164 homes, and you can see it here in this picture. And then what we are talking about are the vacant lots that lie here and here. And we're proposing to add 10 additional lots in those two locations, 10 total. They would be single-story homes, similar to what's out there today. And we'd also add some neighborhood improvements. And as you probably know where this is already, but Ramona, we access off Ramona, and then we're bordered by Broderson. So this shot shows you that we would add 4 homes to the left side on that vacant parcel, and we'd add another 6 homes on the right side vacant parcel. And then in the middle, this green area is where the additional amenities would be added. The next slide shows the amenities larger, and I can kind of walk you through what those would be. So these amenities, it probably is going to take a second for it to load. These amenities are amenities for the existing mobile home residents as well as the new mobile home residents. And it'll include a dog park. It'll include a putting green, 2 shade structures, some seating area. We'd keep the existing bocce ball courts, and then we've added some additional parking. So ultimately, we're required to add 3 new spaces, and we are adding a total of 10. 5 of those we're just relocating. So we're adding an additional 5 new spaces, including 2 handicap spaces. So it's a nice benefit for the existing park, we're hoping. And with that, we thought we would open it up for questions. And if Michael and Nairi, if you want to add anything else to that, we're excited that we're adding to the more affordable housing stock in the county. It's something the county is really trying to do, and the general plan outlines mobile home parks as being in that affordable category. So it would be adding 10 additional units to that affordable need that we're trying to get in the county.
So
Okay.
I have a question, Larry. I can't raise my hand being a co-host. When you say affordable, what is the monthly rent?
I'm not sure. I don't know what the monthly rent is, but the reason that the county considers it affordable is that there are very small lots and a smaller unit. So even just because of the lot and the unit and the single story, it's called affordable by design. It's not affordable, like restricted affordable, where you have to qualify you have to make it under a certain amount of money to qualify to purchase it. It's not that kind of affordable housing. You just have to be older than 55.
Right, but you must
Michael,
have, somebody must have an idea of what you expect these to rent for.
Michael, do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, are we talking about the lot rent or the price of the homes?
Well, how about both?
Okay, I'm not certain on the price of the homes. The lot rents, I believe the market value in the area is around 1,500 per month. The spaces, I would guess around 300 to 400,000 for the homes, but that's just a guess.
It's a little bit high.
And then how many bedrooms?
Generally 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms.
And how about ungenerally?
I mean, you could have a 2 bedroom, 2 bath,
Okay,
or
but
a
no,
2 bedroom, 1 bath. But for the most part, I think you'll see 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It's pretty standard design.
any 4 bedrooms?
No,
Okay.
no, because it's a 55 plus community,
Mhm.
there's just no need for 4 bedroom units because there are not that many people that live in the home.
I didn't know if they'd be using them for office space or exercise room or, something like that.
Well, so generally if they were going to do something like that, you just, you add in a den or a room without without closets. But the footprint of the home only allows for a certain size unit, and it doesn't really lend itself to 4 bedrooms.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lindy, I see your hand up there. You're muted, Lindy, at the moment.
Yeah, let me find Lindy. There you go. Lindy, you can unmute yourself.
Good. You
There
missed
we
the
go.
dog barking. I guess I wonder if you couldn't provide more affordable housing by having smaller units on those 3-bedroom issues, because it doesn't feel like it's very affordable housing for most seniors. One thing. So maybe you could address that, because the other side, you have the smaller units, which I support. Most seniors live in smaller spaces anyway. So, but my big concern is when I saw this, the red flag went up when you say that you have been spray irrigating those open spaces. And I don't know how you have dead grass for the last several years, and yet you can say that you have been spray irrigating. So when you use your water calculation at 3,788 gallons a day to water what is essentially dead grass, and it's pretty much got the mulch over it. I feel that that is disingenuous, and it probably is going to require that you get the water credits that most other buildings, new growth requires, because we're in a basin situation. This is not, we're not just a place to put affordable housing. We're worrying about a basin that is not looking sustainable at this point. So you kind of need to show me where you've been irrigating, because you certainly have dead grass.
Okay, if I could start with, if you don't mind, I'll
Go
start
for
with
it, Michael. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as the unit size goes, for smaller units, we did consider putting in smaller units, but we were trying to keep the same size units that are already there to keep the property looking for these added portions to look like the rest of the property. So we could make them smaller and add more, but it wouldn't really flow with the rest of the property. And that was the thought behind that. I'm sorry, Debbie, go ahead.
Oh, you punt the water one to me. So you are right. We originally we thought the property had been watered more recently than we probably from a letter that you sent. So we did do some research. It hasn't been watered for, did we find out, 3 to 4 years, Michael?
Yeah, it's been about 4 years since the sewer project occurred.
So it has the irrigation pipes that we could use, but they would have to be repaired. They have been cut. So if the project didn't go through, the way the county looks at it, from our understanding of what we've been told by planning, is because it was formerly irrigated and we could turn those on tomorrow and irrigate those again, that would be the water credit we would use from. We're having county staff right now look into that further to make sure that that is the right interpretation. And our goal is to minimize as much use of water as we can, either by, right now we're showing, well, this isn't grass, this is turf, artificial turf, but we're showing grass over in the dog park. And what we could do is reduce our landscaping even more so that we could get some credits that way. And there's also some other ways with fixtures and replacing washer and dryers and toilets and those type of things. But we will take a look at that. We know that that's a concern in Los Osos in general, and we know that we need to have really good answers for that, and the county is going to hold their feet to the fire on that for sure.
Well,
Okay,
I certainly think it certainly is a requirement for any other growth, and you're adding 10 more users, which could be 2 people per home possibly. So it is a large increase, and what we're trying to do is balance our basin. And so I think you probably should be looking at the offsets outside that other developers are forced to look at. It's the only way we're going to work together to save a basin. Thank you for realizing.
Yeah, thank you, Lindy. Sue, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, I have another question about water usage. I'm looking at your memorandum about the water credits and all water analysis, and it says that mobile homes seem to get are estimated to use half the single family residences daily use. I'm wondering how that came to be, because when we came to live here in our home, we had no yard, so we didn't water at all the whole first year and a half that we were here. And we conserved a lot. We hardly turned on the water. We take 3-minute showers, the whole bit. And we were using between 50 and 60 gallons a day total between the two of us. So if you've got normal usage and a small yard, I realize that mobile homes are on small lots, but half Los Osos is ridiculously small lots. So that they would give you guys a base of 75 gallons a day, as opposed to the normal 150 gallons a day that they're giving everyone else. How did that happen?
That's just a standard. And I think it's because mobile homes have such small lots. When you look at these, a typical lot here, this is all covered, so there's no irrigation happening on any of this, and all you have is this little tiny strip around it that's irrigated. I think it's because with a very narrow side yard, a very short front yard, that you almost have no irrigation. That's really watering your plants is what uses up the most water, from my understanding. I'm not a water expert though, so I think that is why. And mobile homes usually have fewer people living in them, especially senior. Some places do an additional reduction if you are age restricted, because they know that you're not going to have families living in those units. The county of San Luis Obispo does not do that, but they do the mobile home reduction.
So these are just numbers given to you by the county.
Yeah.
If you look on the diagrams, one side is just driveway. The other side is generally walkway, which is usually concrete or paver stone. And then the only place you generally have much in the way of landscaping at all is a planter in the front, and sometimes some grass in the back. But you don't have to either. I mean, I live in a mobile home, and I have concrete all the way around. All I have is a planter in the front.
So what is the width of those mobile homes? Because a lot of the lots here in Los Osos are 25 feet.
I'm sorry, the lots are 25 feet?
Mm-hmm.
Some. This is the single lot. Or
Okay, I was gonna say it would have to be a single wide, just, yeah. These lots are, what do they do, 41 feet, Debbie?
I was just gonna pull that up.
41, they're bigger than, they're almost 50.
They're right around 41 feet wide.
That big. And what is the length? The depth. What's the depth?
The length of the lots, now it's staggered, like on the left-hand side here where we're looking, because there's a hill that cuts in on the backside. So I want to say
right here.
Larger at the bottom, smaller at the top, and 56 to 66 in that range.
Thank you.
I had a question.
Okay. Lindy, let me see if all the other members have questions first, and then we'll go around the second time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So are there any other questions or comments from board members?
I have a comment. Can I?
Julie?
Okay.
Julie,
Hey,
go ahead.
I raised my hand too, so on the computer, so you're gonna ignore that. So Debbie, I think everyone is pro affordable housing, but the conundrum becomes supporting a project that uses water. I went on Google Earth and looked at the parcel using the Wayback Time Machine on Google Earth, where you can go back in history and see. And I see that those lawns haven't been watered in 10 years. And so, well, they're dead in the summer or whenever those satellite photos are taken, if you go in the history of Google Earth. I'd like to see, because I don't think irrigation is a fair comparison to the home use. When it rains, you're not using water. Some of the time, depending on the type of plants or even lawns, you use less or more water. I don't believe, I would prefer your project model, the Title 19 2-to-1 offset that is required for, say, Mr. Goodwin's project that we didn't get to hear about tonight. That would mean that you do an appliance retrofit of toilets, shower heads, aerators, hot water circulation pumps, washing machines, as if the irrigation number doesn't count, because I don't believe it does. You're still going to have some landscape. You're still going to be irrigating. I would like to see you approach your project as if we're building new homes using the same water that a home would use. Just go use the Title 19 numbers for your project. I think you'd get more buy-in and more community support if you did that. Okay. I really think that, that's the compromise here, is that we all want you to have these affordable homes, but not at the expense of everyone else's water. So if you certainly would have my support if you could offer up a 2-to-1 offset, like the other new homes outside the prohibition zone that are allowed to build for the time being. So those are my comments, and I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Okay, Lindy, let me see if anyone else wants to, and then you're there. And any other comments from board members? Okay, Lindy.
It was a little bit more of a curiosity in that we see different types of mobile home management where they pay their space in this situation at Morrow Shores. Do they also pay the water bill, or is that just a general, I mean, it's a curiosity, I guess.
Each unit is individually metered.
So they are metered, so they would be aware of how much water they were using.
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm going to open this up to the public now, unless there's any other questions out there. I didn't see anyone else's hands up. Are there any questions or comments by members from the public?
Yeah, you have 2 raised hands. John Trumbauer is at the top of the list.
Oh, okay, let him.
You can unmute yourself.
Can't hear you.
Hello?
Yep, you're on.
Yeah, my comment was just about the water usage, because those fields were not irrigated for several years, and you already brought it up after I had raised my hand. So, and that those fields originally were left vacant, when I understand when the park was built, in order to have a certain amount of green area instead of everything being packed in tight with houses. There was a certain percentage that was on the original plan to allow that. And we can't find that paperwork right now, but that was the situation on that. And that's all I have to say, since you brought up the water issues already.
Okay, thank you, John. Was there was somebody else that had their hand up?
There's Patrick. Patrick, you can, I'm trying to get you to unmute yourself. Larry, my system isn't allowing me. Can you click on the microphone for Patrick and ask him?
I did. I think he's unmuted.
There we go. Patrick, you can now unmute yourself.
We're working, Patrick. There you go. There you go.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to first comment on the graph that was showing about water usage as far as residents. 150 gallons, I guess that's per day. I think it was back in 2017 or 18, and Julie can correct me on this. It was shown that the residents in Los Osos area were using about 50 gallons per person per day. And if your mobile home has 2 people in it, that's going to be 100 gallons per person per day. That was taking into consideration all of our irrigation also. So it wasn't just water use for indoor use, it was outdoor use also. So water is a big issue. I would like to also talk, and I'd like to agree with Julie and Lindy as far as the affordable housing goes. I don't see any reason that 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses should be the ones that are put in there. You know, those are not affordable. And we do need affordable housing in this area, if they're even permitted to go in. And I'd like to read something. This is from the California Coastal Commission, who sent a letter out last April addressing ADUs to the planning directors of the coastal cities and counties and obviously we're one of them. And they're stating that new residential development must be located within, contiguous with, or in close proximity to existing developed areas able to accommodate it, or in other areas where development will not have significant adverse effects on coastal resources. Obviously, new developments, residential developments built in any area over the Los Osos water basin is in an area that is not able to accommodate it because sustainable water simply isn't there yet. And those new residential properties will and do have a significant adverse effect on our coastal resources. And I'd also like to kind of talk about population a little bit, because we have the community plan that is just coming out now and is going to be before the board in next week. If you read the community plan, it states that our current population is at 13,944 and projects a build-out population of 18,000, which would mean a population increase of 4,000 more people. However, the 2000 census numbers actually gave our population at that time at 14,276. And the more recent population count in 2018 by the US government Census Community Survey says the population of Los Osos is 16,292, which is over 2,000 more of us living here since 2010. And we've already increased our population by over 2,000 people in 8 years. We are halfway there to our build out population. And that's happening during our building moratorium. No wonder our basin is in overdraft, experiencing seawater intrusion. Any building is pulling more water from our already stressed aquifer. And we need to cease any more water development in buildings until we have a sustainable water supply. So I would hope you would deny this project. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Patrick.
Now we have Eve. Eve, can you?
Yep, I'm ready. You ready? Am I there?
Yep, you are.
So I just wanted to say that I agree with Patrick 100%. And two other things. One is it was brought up about how lovely it is that we're going to have a new dog park. I live in Morro Shores. I think it's important, as John Trumbauer was kind of getting to, my neighbor, that the beautiful thing now about Morro Shores is the open space that we have. And the idea of bringing in 10 houses will severely limit the amount of open space that we enjoy in our park every day. So I think it's very misleading to show these lovely pictures of the new dog park when the space that we have as open space will be much more limited with the new houses. And secondly, I just wanted to also note, one of my neighbors pointed out, he was very worried that the fire department wouldn't be able to get into those new houses because, as you can imagine, and everybody who lives in Los Osos knows, the fire department and the ambulances come to visit us here in Morro Shores quite often. And we're happy to see them if we need them. But I don't see how, with the increased traffic from the new houses and this very narrow area where the new houses are going to be placed, how the fire department would be able to access those homes. So those are my two points, I guess 3 points. One is supporting exactly what Patrick said about the unsustainability of the groundwater. Two is how our open space and our beautiful garden feel here in Morro Shores is going to be undermined by these new houses. And third, I'm concerned about the fire department access. Thank you.
Eve, can you give me your last name, please?
Yes, it's Gruntfest, Gruntfest.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Eve. Okay, is there any other questions or comments from member of the public?
Yeah, there's Lisa Denker. Lisa?
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. It looks like this project, the proposal is to do the construction of both sections of added housing at the same time. Is that right?
Well, yeah, I mean, in general, I don't know if they would do one side and then move over to the other, but it's not proposed to be phased out or something.
It's not a phase one, phase two.
No.
And the reason why I ask is because I know a good amount of residents at Morrow Shores, and they're all lovely, well into their lives, elders who many of them have voiced to me how they're ending their lives there. And a lot of them are well into their 90s. One of them passed away right at the beginning of the pandemic. And I've heard them say over and over again in referencing construction and various projects that are slated around, that they're concerned about their peace and quiet and their quality of life at the end of their life. So I just wanted to bring this up because I think it's could be kind of overlooked. Mobile homes are very thin walled. They're not so well insulated. Noise is loud. And I don't know if it would be helpful at all to the residents with dust and construction and noise to have a phase one, phase two. I don't know. It's pretty small. Maybe that wouldn't even make a difference, but if there can be anything done in the construction phase that helps the residents' quality of life, that would be really good and considerate.
Good comment.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else, comments, questions?
Larry, I wondered if I could answer or just speak on a couple of those
yes,
questions that people ask.
Yes, please,
So,
please, go ahead.
On the one that about existing residents, thank you. And you're right, we want to make sure that we consider the existing residents, and we will be reaching out to them this week to find out if they have any comments as well. And the good thing about mobile homes is it's less, the construction happens off-site and then they move the mobile home there all built. So it's really the landscaping and the paving and the driveway construction that we would be, they would have to be dealing with. But I totally agree that we want to make sure we're being conscientious with our existing residents. Fire, we are working with Fire. Fire gave us direction on this project, and they will have to be commenting on the project as we go through the process to make sure that they're comfortable with access. So I did want to mention that we are working closely with the fire department. And the only other thing is minor, but these open lots were once leach fields and before there was sewer and we had the septic tanks, there were septic tanks there. So that was the reason for these lots originally. Now that we have sewer, we don't need those septic tanks and leach fields. And so the owners were hoping that they could add some units here. I would like to ask that you just suggest that we work with county planning. I don't think Carrie is here tonight, but she will be on Thursday, I think. Work with county planning to reduce water as much as we can, reduce the water and make sure that we're not impacting Los Osos in any way that we can avoid.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other questions, comments, or anyone want to make a motion on what we do with this?
Hey, can I make a comment, Larry?
Yes, go ahead, Julie.
Okay, so I just wanted to, I don't want to argue with Patrick, but I just want to make an observation and point out a couple of things. When we talk about the reduced water use in Los Osos and the requirement for homes to indoor use less than 50 gallons per day per person. That is a good thing. Many of us are doing even better than that. But when we go to new development, and like I was mentioning earlier, I want to stick with that table because 75 gallons per day per mobile home with a 2-to-1 offset, we're asking this developer to offset 150 gallons per day per mobile home. So the person who lives inside that mobile home might use 50 gallons a day per or less, but they're going to be saving then 3 times what they use. So I don't want to argue that number to our detriment. I want to see as much water offset as possible. With regard to population and the census data, we've just had the census occur for 2020, and that new data will be coming forward. And I think that's best to make our comparisons on the 10-year mark. Also, that in the 8 years that you're suggesting that we've had a population boom, our water use as a community has gone down for the most part. So if we had a population boom in these last 8 years, we would see traffic impacts, school impacts. We'd see a lot of other things associated with a population boom. I don't think we're going to have a big boom with 10 mobile homes. At most, we'll probably see 15, 20 people tops with those new 10 homes. And I work in geriatrics, and I can tell you that senior citizens don't shower every day. It's a dangerous prospect for a lot of them. And so they use a lot less water than a family or active folks that, are out in the bay or jogging or something else. So I think this is a good project. I will make the motion.
There are some people who still want to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Okay.
Patrick, you can unmute yourself, please.
Thank you. Julie, I just wanted to say, the 2-to-1 offsets basically are paper water. It's not really necessarily saving water because you can't really determine how much water anybody's going to use in a given day. So, the 2-to-1 offsets, I know the county has been using that, but there's real questionable validity to how that really does save water. Population wise, yes, in the last 8 years, even if we've had a population boom of 2,000 people, we have saved a lot of water as a community because we have really worked to do that. And I hope we continue working to do that. But until we have a sustainable water basin where we have provable seawater intrusion has been reversed, then I think it's foolish to be making more residential development that is demanding water. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
And then we have Eve again.
Eve, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say one more thing, that on the record, Carrie Brown from the county has told me that one of the reasons why this project doesn't need to go before the Coastal Commission is because it's basically developing upon land that's already developed. But I just wanted to also mention that there are many lots in Los Osos where the sewer hookups are already in place, where there are no houses yet. And even though it's been pointed out that the, bringing in the houses already manufactured does reduce the impact in terms of the construction hubbub, these houses do all require then their own specific hook into the sewer. So I just wanted to be on the record noting that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eve. Robin, was there anyone else there?
I am not seeing anybody.
Sue, I see you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about you had asked how we want to move forward with this. And I'm just wondering if it's possible we could somehow take this to LOCAC and talk to Carrie about water usage, if nothing else, to get it in the minds of the county that we are concerned about water. I know we talk about it all the time, but this seems to be another place where it might be a good thing to do. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of how I want to deal with this, and I'm not really sure. I'd like to know what you guys think.
Okay, so the thought process on this, we can't, it wouldn't be right to send this just to LOCAC without comments or thoughts of, what our thinking is. So like one would be either we think it's a good project, but we're concerned about the water usage, and that we'd like to see, the 2-to-1 offset, or we don't think it's a good project because of the water concerns and we don't support the project. Now that's 2 examples of things we could do. And then we could move this on to LOCAC and have it talked about or decided there. I'd still like to hear Julie. Julie said she had a motion, so I'd like to hear that. But I'm trying to give you guys something to think about. There's different choices we can do, but we have to move. If we move it on, we need to make a clear statement why and what we're thinking. Julie, are you there?
Yep.
Well, what were you going to say? Or is there any other comments before I get back to Julie?
I'd like to make a comment on the water issue. My name is Nairi, and I'm working with Debbie and Michael on this. And I think I really hear a lot of concern about the water basin, and it's something that as a team internally, we've spoken quite a bit about it. Someone mentioned earlier that it seems disingenuous in terms of what year did this grass area stop being watered. And I think it's not disingenuous, rather that we're trying to find that information ourselves, as some parts of our team have been here for years and some are fairly newer. So we're working to figure out those details, and we're in contact with Carrie Brown at the county almost daily. We have some questions into her regarding the water usage and what will work toward that calculation, and if not, is there an option to retrofit some of the utilities? And if not, what would then be another reasonable option to make sure this is a sustainable project? So I just want to communicate from the project side that this is very much front of mind. It's something that we're talking about pretty much every day as the project is considered within the county, and we share those concerns. And I think it's funny to come and sort of present to the board sometimes when we don't have black and white answers yet. So I just want to reiterate that that is something that we're still working on, and absolutely we hear your concerns, and we want to make sure that this is a project that the community can support. Several people spoke to the water issue, and we wouldn't have this basin project if it wasn't such a vital issue. So it is something we're working on, and this sort of feedback is actually very helpful, and it kind of gets our gears going in terms of, what is a possible solution there. So I just wanted to.
Okay. Yes, and I'm glad to hear about the concerns and everything else. So another possibility we could do is put this project on hold until they come up with some more of their solutions for the water issue, which they can then come back to us and present. So that is another option also. Instead of sending it to LOCAC, just table it for right now until after their discussions with Carrie and, seeing what else other options are available, that could maybe help this project along. And then Lindy, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, am I unmuted? Yeah. I just wanted to bring up, I think you need to remove the idea that you have been irrigating that property and that you have that kind of a water credit. That is not reality. say it's 3 years that you suggest, 10 years that show on the aerial, the GPS stuff, the Google Earth. And then my other point was possibly as you're working with the fire department for safe access, et cetera, the group that's, I think it was 5 homes or 4 homes on the left of the property, again, bring those down to smaller. Visually, I'm not sure how you can get into the visuals in a mobile home park because everybody's so close, but bring those into more affordability with the two bedroom uses, and possibly save some of that space for open space for the dog park or what was originally promised to people that have been living there for years, as far as open space. So again, I cannot support that you go with the premise that you were irrigating at 3,788 gallons a day, because it's not true. So again, as you work with the county, I think that needs to be removed from your application steps and start looking at the 2-to-1 as Julie was talking. That is the reality. So anyway, that's all.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. So again, is anyone coming up with any ideas or thoughts of how we want to deal with this project?
Yeah, Larry, I think I would like to support your suggestion to table and to see, get back to discussion after the group is talking further with Carrie Brown and explaining further their water use. And I agree that they should remove or adjust their water usage in those areas during the last, 5-10 years.
Okay. Debbie, so you're listening to this, you see our predicament or what we're trying to come up with. Do you kind of maybe agree that you could come back, in the first of the year to one of our other meetings and have some
I'm wondering if
for us?
I'm wondering if we could get the answers to you by Thursday. If you put it forward so that we go to this Thursday meeting, and we could get the answers from the county on how they will look at this and calculate. Then there's that opportunity. Maybe we don't have to wait until another month.
Okay. The only thing, it doesn't give a lot of time for us, for the public to, I'm in communication with our board members, by email and stuff like, so as soon as you get me the information, I get it to them, but to get it out to the public, we do kind of go by a 3-day, I think 72-hour notice. So we could have you presented at the LOCAC meeting, but you've got the chance there that if the public or stuff didn't hear about it, they could ask, at that time that there wasn't enough time to look at all these figures, and to postpone, to shelve it till January. So I'm just asking you, and giving you the, the alternatives. I think, if you getting the answers to me tomorrow before Thursday's meeting is really pushing it.
Yeah, and it's a little out of my control because I'm working with county staff and I don't know what their schedule is like and if they'll be able to respond that fast. We have questions into them now, but I don't know if they'll be able to respond that fast by tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying. If they don't get back to you tomorrow, then then it's Wednesday and then it's Thursday. We'd like to know what county's thinking, but we have our input too. We're all, there seems to be a very large concern about water usage,
So Larry,
Julie,
I have a, maybe it's an idea, maybe it's not a good one. I'm inclined, if the developer agrees with us tonight, to forego the irrigation credit and use the Title 19 fixture retrofit program. That you then take it to LOCAC Thursday. That way that the irrigation doesn't count, and you have to go through the fixture retrofit. I don't know if the others agree, but it's an idea to keep it moving.
Tricia's
Okay.
literally has her hand up.
Larry, for me, I really want to see what the planning department and Carrie Brown say about the water and what we can and cannot do. And due to the fact that we do need to give our public 72 hours for all of this information, we don't have time to get that for LOCAC. So I would like to postpone this until we get the information we need and have it represented in January.
Okay, we'd like to put that in as a motion.
I make a motion that we postpone any, sorry, I've been driving since 5:30 this morning.
Okay, and any decision on this project until we hear back from the county.
From county.
Can we amend that?
Yes, please.
I want to see the irrigation credit go away. County's we could tell them that the credit is available. And I think if Debbie's going to go back and talk to Carrie and know that we're putting our foot down and we're not satisfied, then they may get down the line an absolute, recommendation for denial. I really think if we send that message with Debbie tonight, we're going to save some water.
Go ahead.
I think it's a good amendment. I mean, but with the understanding that it will take time, so we should postpone it to January. That's my understanding.
Yeah, no, I'm hearing all this. I just need to be put into words so that everyone understands. We right now don't support the project with the irrigation credits.
Right.
But you want to see what Carrie's options are for RRM, and for Debbie, you want to wait to see what those options are. But
right.
Yeah,
with the clear message that no retrofit of lawn.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. So is there a second to that?
I second it. Keep switching.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
So that'll table this measure until we get the information that we requested.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Debbie, I hope you understand or see where we're coming from.
Yeah, it may take us that long to get the county to answer all the questions anyway. So
yeah,
means Thursday we will not be back to your meeting on Thursday, and we will come back to your January meeting. Hopefully, do you know when your first January meeting is?
The first Monday land use is going to be I'm looking at the calendar, first, second, third, fourth.
Fourth.
4th of January.
Thank you.
So we are not going to continue it in land use. We are going to continue it in local.
The next land use.
They have time to find out what the county and Carrie is looking at, and for us to look at that, get it out to the public, and see if that'll work.
Can I just interject that land use will be on the 4th and the regular LOCAC meeting will be January 28th?
Yeah. That's correct.
Are we continuing on the 4th And land use? Okay. Just wanted
Yes.
Yeah.
clarification. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. I think we got through our agenda today,
Oh, that good.
and it's not that late either.
Right, and no Goodwin showed up, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
No, no good win. It would have been very late
Okay.
night, so.
Yeah. Also, it's time for a public comment on things not on the agenda. Anyone out there want to have a comment on things not on the agenda? Lindy?
I just wanted to bring up that we are going to, it'll be next Tuesday that the Board of Supervisors will be overseeing, making decisions on a lot of issues for Los Osos. So I think that if we haven't sent your concerns in, don't forget to do it. I haven't been very good at mine. I think that in a lot of ways, I wish that the community plan had had a chance to come back for some other issues to be addressed, but it didn't, and it's not going to. I'm mostly afraid that the Board of Supervisors have very little interest in Los Osos, and so it will go through with very little comment. And I appreciate some of the letters that came out about the water issue. Again, I think the county is pushing to start growth in the community within the prohibition zone. And I don't think we're even close to knowing if we have enough water to provide for that. So I think that's a major concern. And anyway, like I say, little Los Osos. We're still trying to hang on by our pants. And I do hope that if you could write letters to the supervisors themselves to explain it, that issue can come forward so that it could be worked better than what apparently is in the works with the community plan, just approving to go ahead based on assumptions that all this modeling and all the work we're doing with the basin management that we're paying for and people outside the basin don't pay for is going to allow us to start building. We're not ready, I don't think. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any comments or questions? I just want to say for LOCAC, we've gone through their new policies and procedures, and that'll be coming up at Thursday's meeting. I think all that worked on it did a great job of rewriting our guidelines, and I think everyone worked real hard to make sure it was done right.
Good thing.
And if not, I want to say everyone have a great holiday. I'm going to call it in. Is there a motion to end this meeting?
So moved.
Second.
So moved. Second. That's it. Happy holidays, everyone. Bye.
Happy holidays. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Community.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.